Hello and welcome to Ask MandRproductions episode 124, the series where I answer your questions. If you have a question for next week's episode, you can leave it down in the comments section below. Of course, if you enjoyed the series, leave a like and you can check out all the other Ask MandRs as a playlist, all 124 of them now, which is an insane amount. I also want to pimp my video for tomorrow a little bit. I bought a big thing. If you have any guesses, you can leave that down on the pinned comment. Some of you will probably inevitably get it, but that'll be tomorrow's video unboxing the most expensive Lego set I've ever purchased. I wanted to hint it on the table behind me, but you know, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I gotta keep the mystique alive. Anyway, our first question is from Commander Gree. He says, I know that you think Ahsoka is overused and you don't really like her, but after the Mandalorian arc in the Clone Wars, has your opinion on her character changed? I want to reserve my judgment on this until I finish Rebels, but the crux of my issue with Ahsoka is not really her character, right? Like, yeah, sure, she can be annoying at times. I think that's true of any character in any movie or film or whatever, right? Like, you can say that about anyone. I just hate the invincibility of characters like this. Like, you know she doesn't die because they have her alive like 20 years later, although she should have died because she's not mentioned in any of the movies. That is my line of thinking on that, and I'm unwilling to waver from it, but I am watching Rebels. We'll get to that later. Will Bray says, I just watched your review on the UCS A-Wing. Do you think it's actually 18 plus, or do you think a younger teenager could build it? This is the case with like all these new 18 plus sets, and even previously the 16 plus sets. It's just marketing, more or less. I mean, it's a recommendation, right? Like, it's not a pure guideline that you really need to strictly follow. It, like, just go pick up the set you like, you know what I mean? You're following instructions on a 4 plus set just like you are on an 18 plus set. It's all the same, right? It's just different pieces going together. Unless you personally have found you have real trouble building larger Lego sets, then I don't think the A-Wing will be any particular issue for you. I didn't find anything on there to be particularly challenging. Like, just pick all the pieces like it says and put them where it says to put them. I don't think it's incredibly difficult. WT says, what is your favorite arc after watching the 7th season of Clone Wars, and what was your favorite overall Clone Wars character? And did you notice that Galactic Marines never showed up in the Clone Wars? I didn't even think about the Galactic Marine things. That's a very interesting factoid, which is a bit of a shame because it really makes it less likely that we would ever see them in Lego minifigure form, since they only ever show up in episode 3 then for that few seconds, more or less. Working backwards here, my favorite overall Clone Wars character, definitely Darth Maul. Became an epic villain over the course of the series to me. Loved him. And then my favorite arc has to be the final Mandalore arc. I remember so many times watching those episodes, I've watched them all twice, and just sitting there thinking like, how is this so good, right? Like, that's what I kept asking myself. How can this be so good? The tie-ins to episode 3 were incredible. Eventually, I'll get around to rewatching all of Clone Wars, and maybe that could change, but I can't imagine something would top that. Arizona Cardinals 1228 wants to know what the best Lego set available on Amazon for $40 and under right now is. Right at $40 right now on Amazon, because it's on sale, is the ATST Raider, and I think for $40, that's a pretty damn good deal. Of course, getting Mando as a figure is really great in a cheaper style set. That's a really nice one to get for $40, and technically for right on the dot at $40. Venator Bricks, and this question got 193 upvotes, so whenever a question like this gets a bunch of upvotes, I almost always answer it, even though I already think the answer is obvious sometimes, and even though I've been talking about stuff like this forever. He says, do you think we're gonna have a wave devoted to Clone Wars like we did in the mid-2000s? So he's talking about the 2008 Clone Wars wave, and I try to be as real as possible. I don't want to sugarcoat anything for you and get your hopes up. No, there is not going to be a wave like the Clone Wars wave in 2008. That's just not happening, at least not this year, and I doubt it will happen any other year because there's no reason for them to do another wave where it's just like 10 Clone Wars sets. I don't see that happening for any reason, like, at all. It's just unfortunately not gonna happen. But I will say this, people keep asking, when are there gonna be new Clone Wars sets? There are always new Clone Wars sets. I looked, and there has been a set with a clone trooper in it, and this doesn't even include like other sets that don't have clone troopers from the Clone Wars, but there's been sets with clone troopers in them every year since 2005. Every year, at least one. And obviously a lot more in some years. And so this notion of like, we don't get Clone Wars sets, to me is just so weird because we keep getting them every year and people are like, where are they? Where are the Clone Wars sets? Like, look around? Like, I don't know. I just find that sentiment to be really weird that people keep asking when there's new Clone Wars sets coming when there have literally been Clone Wars sets every year for like 15 years. But back to the original question, no, there won't be a wave of Clone Wars sets like in the mid-2000s, but we will get a few sets sprinkled here and there, as always, maybe a little bit more so now than we had been previously. I think there's going to be at least 4 this summer with General Grievous' Starfighter, Anakin's Jedi Interceptor, the Blue AAT, and then, of course, the File First Battle Pack, which is more or less a Clone Wars set because we get some figures that we see in the latest Clone Wars arc with the Jetpack Troopers. But unfortunately, you're not going to see something with an ATT and a gunship and the Twilight. Like, that's not happening, so don't get your hopes up for that. Hitchman wants to know what was the best ideas set I've ever seen that wasn't made into an official set. It was any submission of The Office. They've made these sitcom shows, and I am in love with The Office. I'm on like my 4th watch through now. Every night when I go to sleep, usually I'm going to sleep too late, and I don't want to put on something like where I have to pay attention and like follow the story that I've never seen before. So I just go straight to The Office, because if I fall asleep watching The Office, whatever, I'll just pick up wherever tomorrow. Jalbrick says, what is your thoughts on doing a mock contest in the future? Oh, it's coming sooner than you may think. I think when I hit 250,000 subs, I'll make an announcement video, but I'm going to do a mock contest alongside a green screen contest, I think, and that's basically going to be with a bunch of prizes that both Mike and I are supplying. Mike sent me the 2017 $40 A-Wing. He sent me a Boba Fett bust, and he sent me a UCS A-Wing. And then I also just happen to have an extra UCS A-Wing and Boba Fett bust and the $40 Mos Eisley Cantina sitting around, and I'm going to give those away too. So it'll be this huge giveaway, like a 2-sided giveaway, where you can either enter into the mock contest side or you can enter into the green screen contest side. And you can win either, or both if you want, and you could potentially win both if you have the best mock and the funniest green screen entry of me. I'm going to upload a video of like me on a green screen doing whatever, and then you'll put that over whatever you want, and then the funniest entries I think will win. Like I said, there will be a video on that coming out, so I won't answer any comments of when is it going to happen or when is the giveaway, blah, blah, blah. You're going to earn this giveaway. It's not a giveaway, it's a contest. You're going to earn it, and unfortunately it is probably going to be US only, because shipping out of country is going to be so expensive for like UCS sets and stuff, so I'm just not going to do that. It's free, okay? I can't just give away everything with just unlimited cost, unfortunately. Regal Plays says, what are some sets you'd like to see made that haven't ever been made before? I think sets like the Separatist Command Ship really need to see some type of rendition in a UCS style. I'm working on another UCS set ideas style video. I think it would be something like top 20 most wanted UCS LEGO Star Wars sets, and it'll cover a lot of stuff like this that haven't been seen before. Yavin 4 as like the actual base would be really nice. They've released a prototype image of that. I've talked about that on here before, but yeah, stuff like that. Maverick says, do you think they will ever make a UCS Kessel Run white Millennium Falcon? Absolutely not. I would bet heavily against that ever happening, because the UCS Falcon already costs $800, and I think when you say that, you're assuming it's going to be in the same scale as the UCS Falcon, right? So if the Kessel Run Millennium Falcon has even more pieces because it has the escape pod built onto the front, you can infer that it would also cost more money than the UCS Falcon already does. So let's say it will cost $900, and I don't think anyone's willing to pay $900 for a Millennium Falcon that is significantly less iconic than the gray one. I don't think it's going to happen. I've seen some really nice mock-ups, that's great, but as far as an official LEGO set at that type of really high price, I just cannot see it ever happening. Ryan Smith says, have you ever considered changing up your room, or for example, would you change where you keep your LEGO, maybe your garage? I did a whole thing. You should check out my vlog from last weekend. I did a whole like big renovation to that area out in the garage, and it looks beautiful now, so check that out. I was so excited to release that vlog, and I'm so happy. It's been my best vlog that I've released so far, like through its first however many days viewership wise. It's doing really well. I just can't explain how happy I am. I'm like 2 weeks ahead on vlogging, if that makes sense. Like all that stuff that you see in that vlog I did like 2 weeks ago and then just kept quiet about it, didn't say anything about it. And so that video has been like privated and scheduled to upload for like 10 days, and I've just been like sitting on that, and I'm like, this is a good video. I know it's a good video. I really hope it does really well, and it makes me feel really good to see it do really well, because I thought it was like one of my best vlogs I've done in a while, and I was just, I don't know, just happy to see it do well, okay? So yeah, I would really recommend checking that out after this video. You can see me rearrange that whole area. As far as this room, nothing's changing about this room. This is absolutely the optimal setup for this room. I cannot change this in any real way, although I might get new glass shelves to go back there at some point here soon. I've been looking at some pretty cool ones on IKEA that I think a viewer suggested, or maybe a viewer suggested one and I went down a rabbit hole and found another one that I actually liked a little bit better, but regardless. So you can read the rest of Branson's comment here if you want, but the gist of his question is that he just finished Breaking Bad and he's starting to watch Better Call Saul, and he wants to know if I've watched Better Call Saul. I have watched the first season of it, and I thought it was pretty good at the time. I've also watched all of Breaking Bad, obviously in the El Camino movie, but I stopped watching Better Call Saul because I'm not a huge fan of the weekly grind of the suspense for things. Obviously with like Disney Plus and whatever, it's easy for me because it's on the app, but like for that, it was like on the TV out in the living room, and I don't want to deal with all that, so I just stopped watching Better Call Saul after season 1, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for them all to be on Netflix so that I could watch all of them. So probably early next year, I will binge watch all of Better Call Saul in preparation for the final season, and then watch that week to week. Harry says, now that you finished the Clone Wars, will you watch Rebels? I would definitely recommend it. So this is what I've been waiting to talk about. You know, I've hinted at this a couple times. I have started watching Rebels. I don't know why I did it. I just did it, okay? I got on Disney Plus. I was like, you know what? I need to give this another chance. I'm on season 2, episode 2 right now, I think, and I will say I was so wrong about everything I had to say about Rebels prior to this. I watched it maybe 6 years ago when it came out, right, on TV or whatever, on Disney XD or whatever it's called. And for whatever reason, it didn't click with me when I was 17. Like, I just didn't like it. I did not like it. And I don't know why, because I really enjoyed the first season. I don't know. I don't know what I didn't like about the first season. I didn't even get to the episode where Ahsoka comes in at the end of season 1. So I didn't even get that far. I don't remember any of that happening. So it's kind of cool to me to be watching this a whole new Star Wars experience for me, essentially, because I've never seen anything past, like, the middle of season 1. And not that I wasn't already going to do it, but I'm now much more inclined to buy all of the Lego Star Wars Rebels sets. I got the ATDP in about a week ago, and I got the Ghost now on order and the TIE Advanced on order. I got to get the Wookiee gunship again. Like, oh my god, I love it. So yeah, I am very excited about finishing the series now. And I cannot wait for Darth Maul to come in. I don't know how big of a role he has, but I like Darth Maul, so the more the merrier. Andrew Katz, with more of a statement, says, we need a UCS ATT and UCS turbo tank. I agree. I just hope the gunship does well, sells well, and then they might be more inclined to make things like that in UCS style, because obviously then the prequels could sell like that, and it'd be great. So yeah, if the UCS gunship does well, I would really start to look towards things like that happening, because that's what I think Lego needs to see other UCS prequel sets as viable options. Peyton says, do you ever think Lego Star Wars Rebels will return? Maybe a remake of the Ghost and the Phantom. I would not mind that now. So yeah, I hope so, because the Ghost is I paid $400 for that seal in the box. Like, I almost bought that at Brick Fair, Virginia, I think 3 years ago, for like $200. So I just, yeah, and the Phantom as well, like $100 set sealed in box. And that's a set that I used to own and then I sold like an idiot, and now I have to buy another one for a stupid price. And I know there's like a rumored sequel to it, or maybe they're continuing it. I don't know. I haven't followed that rumor very well, but there could be more Star Wars Rebels related content coming soon for like Disney Plus. So when that happens, I think that would be a good time to bring back stuff like that. I'm also working on Star Wars Rebels set ideas video, so that too. John Christie says, have you ever thought of getting a dog or other pet? I'm not a huge pet person. I'm just not into it. If you get a dog or a cat, I'm sure they'll knock over your craps, and I have a lot of crap. And then there's like dog hair. I know that's a thing. And then there's pet hair. And I know that's a thing that I definitely don't want to deal with. Dust is bad enough. So yeah. Not for me. Brock B says, what would you think of a revamped or updated Super Star Destroyer? Do you think there's a slight possibility of getting a new one soon? I don't know about soon, especially with the Imperial Star Destroyer out now. I think a UCS Venator is more likely than a Super Star Destroyer return before the Super Star Destroyer returns, and then maybe in like 6 years a Super Star Destroyer return. I think that one needs to wait a little bit longer. I know it goes for a lot of money on eBay and Bricklink or whatever, but I think they should really wait it out a little bit longer and do a Venator first. I was an idiot, and like 4 years ago, I thought it was possible that they were going to re-release it, and I'm talking like 4 years ago. Like, it had just been retired for like 2 years, and I was like, what am I thinking? Why would I upload that rumor video? I don't know why I believed it, but I did. Matthew wants to know, do you think Stranger Things is going to get more sets? I sure hope so. I really hope so. I don't know, obviously, but Stranger Things set, I think, did really well for Lego. It's a really good concept, and I'm really hoping they do something like Starcourt Mall, or maybe even bring out a line of a few sets. They don't have to just do one big D2C set, so I'm hoping they can do something with Stranger Things here in the next year or so. I think the new season might be getting delayed because of Corona, but we'll have to wait and see, obviously, but fingers crossed, something for Stranger Things soon. I was really hoping it would be the May set this year. That's going to be something else that's been indicated by some leaks, unfortunately, so we're not getting a Stranger Things set in May again this year like we did last year. Fingers crossed whenever the new season's coming out, though. Maybe next year we'll see something. Justin wants to know if I think there will be more action battle sets, and if I think they'll make Marvel versions of those sets. I definitely don't think they'll make Marvel versions of those sets, especially because I don't think they're going to make any more of them to begin with. I think if they were going to make more action battle sets, they would be coming out this summer, and they simply aren't. So yeah, no more action battle sets as far as I can tell. I would have loved to get some from the prequel trilogy. Would have been great. Clone Wars style action battle sets could have been pretty fun, but yeah, I think it was a weird concept. It was something interesting for them to try. Obviously, it's not something really targeted towards me or most of the people watching this video as far as like a play set, right? So yeah, they were interesting, and they will be remembered, and I'm sure at some point I'll get to make a cool video like I did with the UCS Hoth, like what happened to this subset of Lego Star Wars sets. Dan wants to know if I have a strategy for spending my Lego VIP points, waiting for something expensive to spend it on, or spending it on smaller purchases, etc. I used to kind of spend it really spread out back when you could just spend them at the cash register. They'd be like, do you want to use your $10 VIP points? Yeah, whatever. Because ultimately it doesn't matter whether you use them all on one purchase or separated, because at the end of the day, it's the same amount of money, right? Like, it really doesn't matter. The new VIP program really sucks, and I also thought it'd be really cool if I just saved up a bunch of VIP points, so that's what I've been doing, and I think I'm going to spend them all on 501st Battle Packs when those come out, because why not? Astral Flick wants to know, how much do you think it costs for Lego to make a set compared to how much they are sold for? In short, Are they ripping us off? I think they're obviously ripping us off, right? Like, they're making a profit. Oh no. I think the cost of production is probably like 10 or 20%, right? Like, it's just not a lot. I think the cost of product development, advertising, employees, etc., 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 is a lot more than you may be willing to concede. And from what I know, if Lego is selling something to like Target or Walmart, if it's like a Star Wars set, Target and Walmart get a 30% profit margin on that. So Lego's probably making like at least 20% extra on top of that. So they're at least a 50% markup there from the actual price of the set that it costs Lego to make, like all in all, versus their profit on top of that versus the profit that the store at the end will make. So of course they're making money. Like, I don't know what you would expect. Apple's iPhones, like if you look up like how much does it cost Apple to make an iPhone, like all the parts in an iPhone cost like $250 or $300, but the phone itself actually costs like $1,000. And that's because it actually costs money to develop the actual product, and it's also worth something to the end consumer to have that product. Like, I don't know how to say this without being really blunt with it, but like, it's okay for Apple to make $400 on an iPhone. They made a really damn good product. They should be able to make money for it, right? Like, that's just the way I think about it. Lego makes a really good product. They should be able to cash out on it. Like, why not? But I don't really think you're getting ripped off as long as you're enjoying the product and you feel like you get an adequate value for what you paid for it. And our final question comes from Bob. He says, Ryan, how does Lego determine when sets will retire, especially UCS ones? UCS ones, we'll just talk about UCS ones, usually last at least 2 years on shelves. Now, obviously this varies, but a year and a half is usually like the least amount of time you'll see a UCS set out for. And sometimes they end up much longer on that spectrum. Sets can end up on shelves for like 6 years sometimes, just depending on the set. Like the UCS Death Star probably was out for like 8 years originally. The original Star Destroyer was probably out for 6 years. Like, sets can just be out for a long time like that when they're in the UCS scale and they're selling well. Like the Millennium Falcon may very well be out for 4 to 6 years as well. I don't know exactly how they determine it. I would just say if you want a set and you want to make sure you get it before it retires, buy it within its first year of release. Unfortunately though, even that isn't a guarantee, as we saw with the 20th anniversary Lego Star Wars sets. Those were released in April of 2019 and some of them were retired by December of 2019 and you weren't able to find them in stores anymore. So it's kind of a gamble when you go into like, it's kind of a gamble when you wait like that. I would really recommend trying to pick them up what you think would be like mid-life cycle. But if you really want to wait it out and wait for the end of life Lego set clearance deal, whatever, sometimes you will get that good deal, right? You'll find the set on 50% off clearance, but sometimes you will get burned and the set will sell out and then you won't be able to get it. So it's kind of a trade-off there, but I don't know how they determine it. I really don't. Anyway, guys, if you have a question for next week's episode, leave it in the comments section down below. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and check out my vlog that I've got linked down below because I think it was really good and I'm really excited about it. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Oh yeah, check out tomorrow's video. Big Lego set.